Hello, my friends, and welcome to Pro Wrestling Daily. My name is Aaron Machbitz. Stone Cold Steve Austin was on a podcast recently, and they were talking about who has it in the business, quote unquote, it. And off the top of his head, Stone Cold Steve Austin mentioned Charlotte Flair, Rhea Ripley, Braun Breaker, and Bayley. What do you think about that? Do you think those four superstars have it? I would tend to agree. I think Braun Breaker has it in spades, especially now that he's with Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman. His trajectory is on he's got a jet packet strapped to him, and he's going straight to the top, especially with working with Paul Heyman backstage on his mannerisms, his promos, the way he moves, his just whole aura that he presents in the ring. And now that was all in preparation for him preparing for these moments that now he has in the main event scene with Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins. So I would agree with Stone Cold Steve Austin there. Of course, we know Rhea Ripley is an absolute stud. Bayley is a living legend, and arguably Charlotte Flair is the greatest women's wrestler of all time. So I would agree with Stone Cold Steve Austin that those four wrestlers have it. Do you agree? And who else would you add in that category in the business that has it? I think Bryan Danielson was talking about who he would start a promotion with. Same idea, right? Who has it? In his eyes, it was like Swerve, Hangman Adam Page, Kenny Omega, and I can't remember the fourth one, but Bryan Danielson believes that Swerve and Hangman Adam Page and Kenny Omega have it as well, and I would tend to agree on that regard. Who else in WWE maybe you wouldn't think has it? Of course, you have the guys like Randy Orton and Seth Rollins and all the main event guys, and Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes. Of course, they have it. You know, we did predict, I think me and many others predicted that Braun Breaker would be a breakout star in 2025 because he has that it factor. I think Otis has the it factor. I think Chad Gable has the it factor. Both guys, I think, could, have a little bit of a push in 2025. I think we're seeing that with Chad Gable and El Grande Americano. Otis just exudes charisma and energy and connection. I think Carmelo Hayes has the it factor. Of course, we know that The Miz has it. The Miz has it. The Miz has had it for forever. Right? We know that Io Sky has it. Bianca Belair has it. Naomi's finding it for herself. There are a lot of professional wrestlers in WWE right now who have the it factor. And of course, you know what JBL says, the famous thing that JBL says, if you were to build a WWE wrestler from the ground up in a lab, it would look like Randy Orton. I still think that to be true. Randy Orton is one of the greatest superstars of all time. And as a reminder, my Mount Rushmore of WWE superstars is John Cena, Randy Orton, Macho Man Randy Savage, and Shawn Michaels. Those are my top four. And of course, they all have it. They have it in spades. They understand the business. They get the business. They're 5-tool players. And I think Stone Cold Steve Austin was accurate. And this was just off the top of his head. I'm sure if he sat down to think about it, he would have a much longer list and maybe a different list potentially of people who would have the it factor. But Bayley and Braun Breaker and Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley are fantastic answers along with those other people that we mentioned. Speaking of guys who have it, Roman Reigns is rumored to be taking a break until June, which I don't really understand. He really only has to do one show a week for Monday Night Raw. I mean, they're not super on the road all the time now. I mean, they already did the European tour, which was really hard. They already did all the build up to WrestleMania and the press and all these sorts of things. And now the storyline is at its peak. He's really moving in this direction, potentially with this partnership with CM Punk, this feud, this real big feud between him and Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker and all of these things happening. And now he just decides to take a break. I'm not really in favor of that. I don't understand it. I don't like it. I don't think he, quote unquote, deserves a break. Like, what does he deserve? This is his job. He should be out there doing it every single week. Most of us can't say, I'm going to take a break from my job until June and still get paid, and we'll just see you guys when I see you. Especially at the height of a storyline when things are really building up towards Backlash and potentially the other PLEs of the summer. I think Roman Reigns should be there. All he has to do is show up on Monday Night Raw once a week. He has to show up at Monday Night Raw once a week. He doesn't even have to have a match. He just has to be there to talk, to engage, to put the finger in the air, OTC style. But he has to be there. I don't understand why he's taking a break until June, unless it's very personal, unless the reasons aren't disclosed, unless it's something that's really, really important. I get it. Like, I'm not privy to that information. I'm just spitballing here. I think he should be there, I guess, but we'll wait and see him till June, and it'll be a huge reaction and a huge ovation when he comes back in June, and then we'll pick up right where we left off. But I just wanted to mention that before I get into the most important subject of this video, which is Goldberg. Apparently, this Pat McAfee promo, this Pat McAfee thing with Gunther, and again, the Pat McAfee promo on the most recent edition of Monday Night Raw was incredible. Apparently, Tommy Dreamer thinks it's a top 20 Raw promo of all time. I'm not sure if I'm in that boat, but Pat McAfee speaks behind a microphone for a living so he can express real, raw, and true emotions, and you saw that from him. If you spend a lot of time on a microphone, you have that ability to express in a really, really powerful way, and he did. It was real, it was raw, it was true. I enjoyed Pat McAfee's promo. I don't think I want to enjoy the Pat McAfee versus Gunther match, because I think Gunther should absolutely eat Pat McAfee for lunch. He should spit him out. It shouldn't even be a contest. Pat McAfee's had 2 professional wrestling matches his whole life. Gunther is an absolute crashed out, unhinged beast right now and should chop him into oblivion. But apparently this is all a setup for Goldberg to come back and to set up a match between Goldberg and Gunther at SummerSlam. And if this is true, for the love of God, why? Why? I know it's been rumored all year that Goldberg is going to come back. He's going to have one more match. But why is it against Gunther? Why is it against Gunther? Like, Goldberg and Gunther don't match up, because they're going to have Goldberg win, and Gunther should absolutely smack this dude into oblivion, just like he would to Pat McAfee. And I just don't understand the sort of obsession with Goldberg. Why does he need to keep coming back over and over and over and over again? He's just a one-trick pony, and the show is up. The gig is up. It's done. Doesn't need to happen. Maybe he can come back and show up at shows and ride an ATV like Stone Cold Steve Austin, or do a little this or do a little that, or spear someone out of oblivion. That's cool. But to have an actual match with someone like Gunther, I just don't think it's necessary. I don't know. I'm going to be so wrong, because Goldberg's going to show up. The whole crowd is going to go, Goldberg. And it's going to be a massive ovation. Everyone's going to love it. He's going to save Pat McAfee from destruction. And then he's going to spear Gunther. They're going to have a match at SummerSlam. He's going to beat him. And then Goldberg's going to ride off into the sunset. Like, great. What's the fucking point? At least in my eyes, Gunther should be just destroying people right now, because he's crashed out after losing his title at WrestleMania 41. So he can get back there, he can get something different, he can sink his teeth into an actual feud, not this like semi thing with Pat McAfee just to build this actual weird, unimportant thing with Goldberg. But like, it is what it is, and that's what's happening. Those are all rumors. But I think that's all I have for you today. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you love Goldberg? Who has it in the business? What do you think about Roman Reigns taking a break? All those questions need to be answered from you in the comments down below. And then like that video, subscribe to the channel, and thank you very much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.